views expressed on this program are not those of intellectualradio.com, its subsidiaries, or sponsors. Encouraging, educating, and empowering you into action. This is Warriors Talk with your host, Lady ReShell.
Hello. Welcome to Warriors Talk with author and founder, Lady ReShell, where we move away from awareness towards action. It is Relationship Monday, and our topic for today is the relationship debate. This is part 2. We are live on Intellectual Radio. We just heard from Roman with the Drive at 5. Keep it locked right here on Intellectual Radio and allow us to feed your brain. The show is being sponsored by Emanuel Church of God in Christ, located at 3058 West Van Buren in Chicago, with Pastor Michael Richardson. And we are still practicing social distancing, so you can catch the Word of God every Sunday morning at 10:15 a.m. on our Facebook page, Emanuel Kojic. The quote of the day is, "Love is like a virus. It can happen to anyone at any time." Our trending topics for today are: the U.S. was already setting records due to COVID-19. Expert says that Thanksgiving could have made it worse. The United States leading infectious disease expert Anthony Fauci warned Sunday in a meeting and the press interview, saying that COVID-19 superimposed on the surge that we were already in might be coming due to the Thanksgiving holiday. So the public health expert has been warning Americans that congregating over the holiday could cause a super surge. So they are expecting the numbers to go up due to the Thanksgiving holiday. Your other trending topic is Wisconsin completed the recount, and they confirmed that Biden's victory over Trump. The recount in Dane County, which was requested by Trump's campaign, showed that Biden won by 180,000 votes. So they are expected to certify the election on Tuesday. So those are your trending topics. So joining me today is none other than cancer activist, motivational speaker, and the founder of the Gal Foundation, ReShell Gilmore. Hello, ReShell.
Hello, Lady ReShell. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm excited. It's Relationship Monday.
It is Relationship Monday.
I'm always excited about this day.
We had an awesome show last week. Everybody was just commenting, and we could not get through all of the things that we had. So that's why this is a part 2.
Yes, it was a very good show, but we always have a good show. But this one was very, we really brought a lot of the heat with this show here.
I think when we left off like on a note. I think Brenda had the last comment where she said that she was going to listen to the man because, that's why a lot of us were single, because we were doing, the wrong things. So some of the things that we talked about last week, we talked about, ReShell, I know you mentioned the consistency, and you mentioned communication as it relates to women.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about who should pay for the first date. Should men pay for the first date? We talked about love being a choice or a feeling. And what else did we talk about? Should you have conversations should you hang out with your single friends? Like, how often should you hang out with your single friends? So those were our comments, or our topics actually for last week. So this is part 2 of the relationship debate. So ReShell, you got your list ready? And I'm assuming ReShell can't hear me because he's not saying nothing, because he looks like he's frozen. So for those of you who
they were being cautious. That's what it was. And I had a story about women being cautious or being closed off or whatever. Okay. That I do remember. So I know you got your list. So ladies first, I'll let you start, and then I'll go into what I need to, explain.
So my first one is your significant other entitled to your social media and your cell phone password if you're in a committed relationship?
Me personally, I think not. And only say that because my phone is my phone, your phone is your phone. Your password is your password. If it was not to be looked at, there wouldn't be no need for passwords. But I guess it depends on the individuals. If y'all want to share each other's passwords and all this and that stuff, fine, y'all do it. Me, I'm not too big on social media. I don't need social media to validate my relationship or do anything like that. I'm not always on there, this and that. So I really don't care. But just like, I'm not going to go into my woman's purse. I don't need you going into my wallet. Your things are your things and my things are my things. Now, unless we got an understanding on that's what we're going to do, then that's a different story.
So your answer is you would not share your cell phone password or your social media password with your partner or even your spouse?
My wife? And they're not trying to hide anything, but probably not. I mean, she would have it. She probably won't use it. My wife, she didn't have my password. Hell, we wasn't even on the same bank accounts. So, I mean, that's just how things were. Maybe my next wife or whoever, it may be different. But right now, no, I wouldn't share it.
That's another one too. Like, would you have joint accounts? So we're just going to stick with this one, and then we'll probably get back to that one. As far as social media passwords and a password to my cell phone, probably my husband, but not a boyfriend. Like, you don't get those privileges. My husband, yeah, it'll be like, oh, he'll know what it is. That trust will be there, so he won't even have to be trying to see what's in the phone. Like, it wouldn't be locked. The phones would not be locked. We really wouldn't have a need to go in each other's phones, so, us having the passwords shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then I think the phone is with me all the time. So when are you going to find time to go into it?
Well, you two can be somewhere and her phone may be in her purse or something. And she said, babe, let me use your phone so that I can look up something. And you're looking at her like, like, no, you can't use my phone. Where your phone at? Like, trust me, it happens all the time. It really does. I just believe that it's just wherever you are, your trust level is, then that's where that's going to take place. You both may decide that, we trust each other and we don't really need each other's passwords because I don't have an issue with you as it relates to me not trusting you, thinking that you're doing something. So they may not even want the password.
Yeah, me personally, I'm not going around snooping and looking to see what you're doing or what you ain't doing. I'm not going through no phones. We did that stuff back in high school. You know what it takes to be in a relationship. You know what it takes to be in a marriage. You know what needs to be done. And if you're doing all of that and I got to go through all of that stuff to, put all this energy and to find out if you out there creeping or you doing something wrong or whatever, then I'm definitely in the wrong relationship.
Okay, I never said anything about snooping. I just said, are they entitled to your password?
Nope. You ain't getting nada.
Okay. So yeah, like I said, if I'm married, then that's a given. Yeah, we would have each other passwords. If we're just dating, we're engaged, no. But I wouldn't lock my phone. So if he wanted to go in the phone, I don't have anything to hide, so I wouldn't be like having a panic attack if he picked it up. You just get a second.
Yeah, I mean, he's married, yeah, but why would he be going in the phone? I mean, but you said, I understand your example. Like,
he may want to, who knows? You may be showing him some pictures and he may be like, okay, let me see, babe. And he's showing somebody else. And you're like, don't swipe left. Like, you never know what situation you may be in to where they may need to get your phone. You could be in an accident or something. They may need to make some calls. They may need your phone. And he looking like, I don't know none of her password. I can't get in this phone. Like, you never know what they may need it for. And if you with somebody you shouldn't even be with that person.
That's why I said you got to go through all of that. You shouldn't be in a relationship.
But I'm not saying that you getting the password so you can snoop. I'm just saying would you give them that password? Do you trust them enough to have that password? Not that, oh, they're going to be snooping through my phone. No, like what's going through your mind that you think if I give this person my password that they're going to be going through my phone?
I've had that. That's why I think I feel the way that I feel, because I didn't even give it to her. She found what it was and saw it, and every chance she get, she was in there, and it became an argument. And I'm not going through that yet. I'm not going through that no more. I'm not. I don't touch my phone. Stop going through my ish. So that's why I feel the way. That's why I feel that way.
Okay, I think, every couple is different. Like I said, if I was married, you can have it. I don't care. There's nothing. We all are entitled to our own privacy. We should have privacy, and you should respect the other person's privacy. So there should be that level of trust there, to where you don't even have to go through the phone because you trust that person. That's not necessary. Whatever's done in the dark will come to the light. So don't even waste your time trying to go through, a phone and then watch them explain and talk their way out of it. Like, just no, don't even waste your time.
I agree.
Don't waste your time. So the other thing you mentioned was the, well, I'll let you do yours and then go ahead and do your second one.
Well, growing up, let me just, growing up in Newark, New Jersey, spent a lot of time in the house because it was like so much crime and stuff, being younger, and I got a chance. I watched a lot of National Geographic and Animal Planet. Love animals. I'm an animal lover. One day I was watching this, these scientists, they was doing the experiment with a shark. And what they did was they put the shark inside the water. They had him in the water, and they would throw fish in there, and immediately the shark would go and attack the fish. And they let that go on for about a week because sharks are natural hunters. Their instinct is to go and, kill and get their food or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So one day they put up a transparent wall where the shark was still able to see the food, but he couldn't get to it. So every time the shark hit the wall, he would hit his nose and he couldn't get to the food. So they let that go on again for about a week. After the week was over, they removed the transparent wall and they put the shark back from where he started. They put him back in there in the tank to see if he would chase the fish. He didn't chase the fish. At some point, the shark had lost it. So I say all this to say, a lot of ladies when these walls go up, they lose that hunger. They lose that appetite to do a lot of things. You are naturally supposed to go after what you want. But when you get stuck in a place where there's walls, and a lot of times these ladies, they put them up themselves. It's not necessarily nobody. You lose hope. And I don't want people losing hope that they're not going to get what they want. You're not going to eat anymore. You lose that appetite. We need you to hunt and not be the hunted. So that's my synopsis with women that's being cautious and who's putting up walls. I just think that you begin to lose some things along the way. So what do you say, Lady ReShell?
I'm not going to discourage women for putting up walls because too many men play games, okay? Not all men, but a lot of them do. So those walls are there for a reason. Now, I'm not saying for the walls to be so thick that nobody can get through them. But those walls are there as a precautionary measure so that when the light bulb goes off in your head that, okay, I've been here before. This is familiar. Somebody played this game before, and to get the heck out of Dodge. So no, those walls need to be there. And again, I'm not saying that they need to be so thick that the man cannot break it down, but they're there so that it can eliminate individuals who are not supposed to come beyond those walls.
Nope, it ain't happening that way.
I'm just
with women that I have encountered, it's not happening that way. They will post all day. This is why I don't have a man, because I'm happy by myself. I ain't got to answer to nobody. I ain't got to do nothing. You won't give nobody a chance. You don't want to be loved. You going through all this and that. Nope. Them walls are thick and they get thicker.
Where did the walls come from? Like, how did they get there?
Obviously past relationships.
Yes. So it's not like, okay, they made these walls up and they're just, this is something that was in their imagination. This is from experience, something that they have experienced. So if you are a man that's trying to get with this person and you feel like they have those walls up, then either you're going to address the walls that she has because you want to get beyond them, or you're going to keep it moving. And with everybody that you get with, they're going to have some sort of baggage from the past, and you're going to be working with them to get beyond whatever it is.
I think I've seen this thing where it says a lot of the baggage comes from childhood effects, or something that affected you in your childhood, and you didn't deal with it then. So now as a grown up, people are dealing with it and bringing it into these relationships or so, because it wasn't dealt with 20 something, 30 something, whatever years ago with the parents. And it's just been traumatizing, and people just don't know how to love.
A lot of it comes from these BS relationships that you have been in. Because there are a lot of people who have these loving families, and your daddy didn't teach you to accept that, but for some reason you got and you do. So no, I don't. I have to respectfully disagree with you on that. Yeah, there are people who have been molested, and who dad was not in the household, and they're still loving people. They're still open to be loved. This is from relationships, not. Mm-hmm. No, that may be a small percentage of it, but no. So, all right, let's move on. Was it just I'm very passionate when it comes to relationships, so you have to forgive me. Okay, where were we? So we're talking about the relationship debate. Again, this is part 2. For those of you who are joining us, please like, share the show, comment, because we do read the comments. We value the comments. We're live here on Intellectual Radio. And okay, so Rizal, was it my turn or your turn?
Your turn.
All right, so the next one is, this is a good one. Which is worse, emotional cheating or physical cheating?
I think as it comes to as men and women, I think because women are more emotional creatures than men are, and men are more physical creatures than women are. So I think we would hurt more knowing that our woman was more physical with someone, because we can't take that picture in our head that you was even doing that, compared to women who can't take that a man that you really like, did you love her, knowing that he's been telling you that he loves you. So I think the emotional is for women and the physical is for men.
I think it's a mix. I think it's a mix. I think for women, emotional cheating is probably higher than the physical. Like, I think it starts emotional, right? And then once they gain you emotional, of course, it could possibly lead to the physical. But when somebody has your mind emotionally, like that, for me, that's harder to break than the physical would be. And I think that may just be, like you said, a woman thing. If you're emotionally attached to another woman, like how can I, try to work anything out with you and your heart is not there? Your heart is with somebody else. So that emotional thing can be detrimental to a relationship, as well as the physical. Now, the physical, because we know that men are not like, oh, I slept with her, so I'm in love with her now. No, because it's not like that for men. They could, you guys can do it and you can move on. So the physical for us to be like, okay, he slept with her, okay. But if you say I'm emotionally attached to this woman, Like that probably, for me, that would probably hurt me worse than the physical would. Yeah, you'd be like, oh, you want to see how she look, what was it about her that, and most of the time, this is just my assessment. So don't get upset. Most of the time when men are cheating, it's like, she don't even look better. Really? Like, what did you see in this person that would make you go with this person? And for them, sometimes it's not all about looks. It's not, and as women, we think, oh, she must be better than me if he gonna go and sleep with her. And sometimes it's not even about that.
Oh boy, I heard it plenty times. You know how you women get, oh, is that what you want? Is that what you slept with her? Really? You know how y'all start to go off about the whole situation. But like you said, it must have been something about her at that moment, that time, something to make him, say, hey, I want to lay down with this woman. Was there not something being done beforehand, maybe physically or whatever, that he found in her? I mean, it could be different. There could be different things, It could be a number of things for a man to say, to cheat physically on his wife, significant other, whatever the case. Some men, they do it just because they can do it.
Yeah, I have found that everything could be going right at home, and it's just something that person is something within that person that they're missing, and it probably has nothing to do with you. It's just something that you're lacking. So I always look at it like, that's something wrong with that person. Like, it's something in that person that they're missing, especially if you haven't discussed it with me to let me know what's going on. Like, there's something within that person. So I would try not to take it as, oh, is something wrong with me? What's wrong with me? I look at it like that person is not disciplined. That person has no discipline. That person has no integrity. That person has no loyalty. So like, do you want to be with a person like this? Like, really?
It definitely makes you think, like, I don't know if I can do it. Even if women do take the men back, they always say, once a cheater, always a cheater. But I think if you communicate and find out what the problem was in the beginning, to find out, to make him, to have him to go, seek what he was looking for elsewhere, then maybe you guys can work it out and fix it. And maybe he won't go back to the old way or what he did. Men can change. Black men don't cheat.
Yeah, they do. Can relationships recover from cheating? I'm just saying. They do. Can relationships recover from cheating?
I think so. I'm a high believer in that. I don't think that there's anything that we can't talk about that we can't get through. We've been doing it all the time. Our parents been doing it all the time. So yeah, we could get through it.
I think if we look at cheating like men looked at cheating, then cheating probably, it will go down, because 95%, maybe 99%, it's just my own estimate.
That's a higher percent. That's a really high percent.
Woman cheats and the man finds out, he's out of there. There's no second chance. So women, you need to do the same thing. If he cheats, get out of there. Because if you cheat on him, guess what he's going to do? He's out of there. Point blank. He's out of there.
I don't think so. I think men have given women who's cheating, they give them a fair chance. I think, especially if they love them, they don't just like, oh, you cheated, I'm washing my hands. Or if that's it, I'm done.
For a hot second, I guarantee you.
Oh, you definitely would think about it.
Baby bye.
Yeah, you definitely would think about it. You got to go somewhere and blow some steam off or whatever the case. But you're going to think about, like, look, she cheated again. What was it? What is the why? Why did she do what she did? What wasn't I doing? This is when the logic comes in.
It's not, you stop blaming yourself. Probably has nothing to do with you. It could be that person. It could be their own shortcomings to why they cannot be faithful. Now, if they want to sit down and discuss, well, oh, babe, you wasn't doing such and such. Why is this the first time I'm hearing about this? Like Let's discuss this. And again, we go into relationships with the wrong intentions because we expect for people to make us happy. I'm not responsible for your happiness. I'm not. You're responsible for your own happiness. And when we come together and we be happy. But we put so much pressure on these people, on other people in a relationship because we expect for them to, be superwoman in a relationship when we're coming up with half. We're coming up short. When you're not doing X, Y, Z, how you know I'm satisfied? I could be over here not satisfied, but I'm not out here cheating.
So how do we fix the not being satisfied? How do we fix your situation from you going out there, or the problems that you have within, if it's definitely not on me, because I'm happy, but obviously you're not happy.
Communicate. Go get you some help. Go get some help. Go see a counselor, a psychiatrist, psychologist, whatever you have to do. Go get you some help to find out why it is that you want to go outside of this relationship.
Do you think there's a fear of people going to talk to a psychiatrist, in the Black community?
There's a lot of crazy people walking around that, if you know that you're sick and you see that yourself, you have this open wound, but you won't go and get it stitched up. How crazy are you? And then you spilling that craziness out on other people because you're not healed.
Because mental health has really become a big thing lately, especially in the Black community. We really do need to.
We really need to get away from that. We've come so far right now, and we need to just release that and let it go. That, we have this fear of, going to get help. Who are you hurting? Yourself and the people around you. Take some accountability, take some responsibility for your life and for the people around you, and go and get your butt some help. That's what I say about that. All right, where are we, Rizal? We're talking about the relationship debate. Part 2. All right.
You've been freezing tonight.
I think you're freezing. I don't know what's going on with your internet.
Wait a minute.
That's in my intellectual radio, baby. We got the works over here, so I know it ain't us. So it's
intellectual radio. I know y'all got the antenna on, and y'all got it going on up there.
You know it ain't us. So come on with your next one. What's up? What you got?
No, I finished my list last week. I'm just answering your question. Look, our point is very short of what we want and what we like to see and what we debate about all the time.
Okay. All right, so let's go to this next one. The next one is, who cheats more, men or women?
I don't think I can answer that question, because if women cheat, women are so good at it, you don't know if they cheated or not. So if I say men, and the women might outscore the men, I don't know. I can't answer this one.
We really good at hiding it. Y'all get so sloppy sometimes. I think they probably get sloppy because maybe they want to get caught. I think if they want to hide it, they could. I think once they start getting sloppy, it's like, oh, well, if I get caught, I get caught. I don't care.
Like at that point, I think you're tired. You're like, I mean, you've seemed like if you get to that point, you've put a lot into this other person now.
I agree. So who cheats better? Oh, I think we just said that. Then we just said women.
Black men don't cheat.
Yeah, okay. They cheat with somebody.
Black men don't cheat.
The next one on the list for the relationship debate is sex before marriage. Should you be having sex before marriage? You're speechless. What's up?
Absolutely. But that's just my point. That's just my view. I think that you should.
The Bible says we shouldn't be doing that. We should be saving ourselves for the one. We shouldn't be doing that.
Well,
it's a sin.
I don't think I'll go that far, but
it is.
I know it's there. I know it's there.
So why do you believe in sex before marriage? Why?
we need to test drive that thing so we know what we getting ourselves into. Because obviously, if you haven't had any experience, or if I haven't had any experience, or whatever the case, and then for me, sex is a big thing. That's like 50% of the relationship.
That's for all men.
No, it's not for everybody. Trust me. That percentage, some of them could care less and not even have sex, and I don't see how that could be. But but I don't see for a person like me that it counts a lot and it holds up a lot of weight. I need to know that satisfaction is going to be met, but that's just my personal thing. Other people might, think different. Like, oh, well, if you show them and let them know, tell them what it is that you like and this and that, you're at a certain age. This ain't your first rodeo. Well, hopefully you're not like the 50-year-old virgin or anything like that. But I do think now, this time, day and age, that, yeah, I think you do it. If you can hold out and not, God bless you.
So I look at it this way, like you in all these relationships, test driving this, test driving that, and now you ain't even in no relationship. So it's like, what was the point of test driving that? Like, if I haven't had sex before and you haven't had sex before and we get together, and we talked about this before, I don't know what good is and what bad is because I have not been with anybody else. So that means we're going to be learning together. Where we go wrong at is because we have sex outside of marriage. And now I'm comparing you to Joe Blow that I done been with that did all of this flipping, licking and stuff. And now it's like, oh, wow, you ain't doing all this. So that's where we go wrong at. That's why if you do it the Bible's way, you don't have these issues.
Well, then too, this day and age, we're in a microwave age where everything is fast and it's getting faster. Nothing is slowing down. That we look at things, a lot of men and women weren't taught the way that we are talking about of doing it the Bible way, or breaking it down to how of what, like what you said. You said women talk.
The Bible it never changes. It's the same. We just choose to do our own thing. We just choose to defy it. We just do our own thing. And because we feel like the consequences are not immediate, so we just do our own thing. It's all like, what is really going on? For real. Okay. So I say wait, especially if you're younger. If you're young and you're getting married young, I said wait until you get married. Now, if you done already had sex, let's talk about they have this 90-day rule out here. Should you wait 90 days? Should you have sex on the first date?
I think that's totally up to the person. You want to wait 90 days? You go ahead, get your Steve Harvey on, and you wait the 90 days. I don't know if he'll still be around by then, depending on how things have been going. But if he does, that's cool. If he don't, that's cool too. If you want to have sex on the first date and you ready for that and you feel as though it's not even the point that he's won. If your body is saying, this is what we want, your mind is saying, this is what we want, your heart, everything, your spirit is saying, this is what we want.
That's pure lust. That's not your mind. That's just lust. That's your flesh. That's your flesh. You're not even in your right mind. That's your flesh. You're not even thinking right. That's all flesh.
Well, at what age do you think that couples should be getting married? Because I know a lot of women, they say, well, I'm 25, I need to have my husband by then. And then now here it is 20 years later, you're 45 and you still ain't married. I think so you had all that time doing, saving yourself and doing all of this, but you kept overlooking everybody because
maybe God didn't bring her husband yet. Y'all always talking about we overlooking people, but if you come to me and say, hey, God said that you my wife, but God ain't confirmed jack with me, I'm gonna be like, no, you're not. If he gonna tell you, he gonna confirm it with me. He's not just gonna tell you that I'm your wife and don't tell me the same thing. That's a lie. So he's gonna tell me too. A lot of men use that line like, God said you my wife, and people think women are so desperate that we're going to fall for. Yeah, we will hold out for the one that God has for us. If it means, okay, I'm not out here sleeping with every Willie, Tom, and Harry, okay, I'm not doing that. So when I do get with my husband, I don't have all these miles on me. I don't have this high body count. You know, some men still will be okay with that. That's just my opinion.
Man, I think at this certain age, you're going to find that women are going to have a child or children at our age. So you got to be accepting, and you got to accept the fact that she's going to come with baggage. It could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 4, it could be 5. But it's going to come down to your feelings and how you feel about this one. If she's the one, you're not going to worry about the kids or anything, because you're going to take care of them as if they were yours, because you love her.
So what did we come up with the 90-day rule? What did we say?
Don't listen to Steve Harvey.
I think the 90-day rule is there for a reason. I think if they're really only there for sex, they may not wait the 90 days, or they could wait the 90 days, but they're having sex with somebody else. And so, you know, it's not like they're waiting for you. They over here having sex with 2 or 3 other people. And then when you say, oh, the 90 days is up. And ladies, don't be telling him that I'm waiting on the 90-day rule. No, he should never know that. If he asks you for sex, just be like, I'm not ready yet. Just use I'm not ready yet, but never tell him that you're waiting for that 90-day rule, because he will seek it out. He will wait, and he will be on his best behavior. And if he's going to stay, he's going to stay. If he's not, then he's going to be out of there. So don't use the 90-day rule as a game. Like, you know, you're trying to trap him to get him to stay. Because if he's going to stay, he's going to stay. If he's not, then let him, you know, he's going to go. So I think if you're 2 adults and you're dating first, because if you're dating, you're not having sex. You should not be having sex if you're dating, because all you're doing is collecting data. I'm trying to figure out if I want a relationship with you, if you fit into my world. You know, do we have the same values, the same goals? So that's all we should be really talking about. You know, just spending time together to figure out if that's what we want to do. Kenya said exactly. So we should not be having sex with each other. Once you have sex, it gets so clouded, and then you're so confused. And I was watching this movie last night with this girl. She met this guy. They had a one-night stand, and then he left, and he was like, oh, I gotta go. He woke up in the morning and was like, oh my gosh, she's still here. And he was like, I gotta go. He had to go on a trip. And she was like, when you coming back? He was like, I'll be back tomorrow night. He was like, just give my keys to the doorman. Well, she caught herself staying in there, surprising him when he got back, and he came in the house. He was like, what are you still doing here? And she was like, well, you said you would be back tonight. I wanted to surprise you. And he was like, it was a one-night thing. Like, why are you still here? Like, you know, sometimes we get confused with it, you know. So just sex shouldn't even, if that's what you want to do and say, hey, all we doing is just having sex, you know, whatever. It's still dangerous because people still get feelings. But if you're looking for a relationship, then you got to take sex off the table. Take it totally off the table. Even talking about it, because once you get to talking about it, then you want to see, you want to be able to feel. So, you know, take it off the table and, you know, replace that conversation with something else. And yeah, you're attracted to that person. You know, you want them to know that, you know, you like them, you see them, they're attractive, but, you know, you got to somehow take it off the table to see if this could really go somewhere.
I think that, honestly, I think this game's being played on both parts, and women do need to know what it is that they want before they go and begin to entertain this guy, before he start investing and putting all this work into this situation, before you say, no, this just ain't for me. And you led him on thinking that it's going to be something, and it's not. You could take him to 120 days, you know, after all this time. Why go that far if you're not interested?
They do, Kenya. People act like dogs in heat. They totally do. And that's why it's important not to even put yourself in a situation to where y'all are alone, to be able to, you know, get to that point to where, oh, we want to do something. You know, Rizal, most women come Most women come with a list of things that they want before they meet a person. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to find a woman playing games. We just not. Our nature is we want a husband. We want to get married. So when we approach, thank you, Joy. Hey, Yolanda. So when we approach men or men approach us, we're not in there for playing games. This is how women think. And we really shouldn't think like this. When we meet a guy, the first thing we think is, oh, I wonder is he marriage material? Oh, he could be my husband. Oh, you're thinking of the wedding. This is how women think. We're not meeting this man saying, oh, I can play him for his money, or I could get him to do this, do that. No, we're not. That makes a small percentage. Women are not thinking like that. We're not. And I don't know what kind of women that you running into that does that. But the majority of the women, we're thinking like we're looking for our next partner. We're looking for our husbands. We're not looking to take advantage of a man. That's not our MO. It's not.
Nope. I disagree.
So like I said, I don't know what women.
I'm telling you, the games are still being played. They are still going on, and they are going on even stronger in this day and age. And that's what saddens me about the whole thing, because nobody is looking for love anymore. Everybody's looking for help.
Everybody's looking for love. That's the word that everybody's looking for. God is love. Everybody's looking for love, right? Everybody's looking for love.
They ain't looking for a husband.
You get sidetracked. I don't know what kind of women.
They want to know what kind of car, how much money, can you do this? And then if you can't do that anymore, then it's like an attitude. Well, you used to do this. You need to do this. You need to spend that. This is why I just stay to me.
Girls. And yeah, that's where their mind is at, because they're not ready to settle down. So you need to maybe up that age a little bit and say, hey, how old are you, Resolve?
Hey, now.
How old are you, Resolve?
Where's the tick?
Come on,
36.
How old are you, Resolve?
36.
You're 36. So you may be interested, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe 26 to 35. Right?
No, my age range, come on now, you know I'm 46. My age range is 36 to like 50, 52 or so.
Okay.
And the only reason I go down, because I saw my parents was 10 years apart, and I saw how they made it work. My father was older than my mother. So if they made it work, I was accepting to someone down at that age to do the same thing. But those girls at that age, maybe that, again, that's what it is. But women that's either my age or older, we're not on the level. So it's like I'm not on neither one of the levels, or no one's on my level of things or where I want to be. And I think next topic we're going to talk about it, because, and I've been asking this question, what is a good woman? I hear so many women say that I'm a good woman.
It depends on who you're talking to. It's going to be a different definition for each and every individual.
Exactly. I don't want us to get into it now, because that's a whole nother topic. Maybe that could be for the next time that we have a relationship thing. But right now we're sticking with the relationship debate, the things that
that's a debate. That's a debate too, because what you think is a good woman, maybe another man may be like, nah, man, that's not a good woman. So it depends on each individual interpretation of it. It depends on, like Kenya is saying, to be frank, she said women don't know what they want in a man. And I think it's because they confused about all these imposters that they done ran up on. Yolanda says, she says, I'm 53. I have way more time behind me than I do in front of me. I would love to be a wife. Exactly.
Just like I would love to be a husband. I learned my first time around. I learned things, and I still, even now, I continue to learn what it is about being a husband. Me and my wife both were young back then. We didn't know what, marriage and all that stuff was, but we took that chance. We took that leap. We had faith, and we did it, and we made it work. And I appreciated the lessons that we had to teach us those things. Even now, I still learn. I look at different marriages and different people and what they're going through, and not to judge them on, what's being what, but I look for them for answers. I look for them for situations, because you never know. You might end up going through that situation. you might have that same thing going on. And how did they resolve it? How did they, do it? That's why I love couples that's been married 30, 40, 50 years. How did y'all keep it together? And any couple will tell you, it didn't always line up with me. It didn't always line up with her, but we stick together. We stayed together. We made it work.
Yeah.
And I think this generation these days, they're just quick to get rid of, to call it quits before trying to make it work.
Sometimes you do need to call it quits, because sometimes if it ain't working, some of these marriages God didn't even put together, and some of them just stay just out of loyalty or out of convenience, and they're not even in love no more. So I'm not going to advocate for that. I advocate for long marriages. My parents were married 53 years before my dad passed, and I don't know. This is my opinion. Oh, I read that one already. This is my opinion. Can you say I beg to differ, because most of the time when they've been married 30 and 40 years, they have not been happy all those years. That's all I'm saying.
And that's very true. I agree with Kenya. Of course, you're not going to have every day. It's not going to be the best day of your life. You're going to have some disagreements. I do agree with Kenya. And I will say that.
Yolanda said she didn't know before, but after my life has changed, now she knows what she wants. And I think that may be because we try to get into relationships too soon. Like really in your 20s, you really should be like maybe going to school, going to college, and just dating.
Career.
Not trying to be serious with somebody. Then when you get 30, okay, you set in your career. Now you can really start looking for somebody. But we be trying to get hooked up in our 20s with somebody, not, trying to be in a serious relationship when we only really should be just dating. Just dating. And we tend to miss out on those dating years because we trying to be so serious and be hooked up with somebody.
But what about in those dating years that guy is the one? Like, think about it. Me and my wife was high school sweethearts. So if I would have just dated and just focused on career, I wouldn't have had her. If
it's God's plan, it's gonna happen. That's all I gotta say. If it's God's plan.
That's why he put me in, that's why he put me in her life, because he knew I would be the man to take care of her and be bonded with her until we were separated by death.
Can you guys do me a favor? Rizal and I are talking about the relationship debate, and I would really like for you guys to like and share this show. We're live on Intellectual Radio. And I appreciate you guys' comments and you guys coming back for the second week of this debate. So just go ahead and like and share the show so that somebody else can get this information so that we can have healthier relationships moving forward. That's my goal, is to have healthier relationships. So right now we talked about cheating. We talked about, can the relationship be repaired after cheating? We talked about emotional cheating. We talked about physical cheating. So where are we now? So Rizal, you said you have read all of yours?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when should you introduce your partner to your family?
When should you? Well, most likely, it usually happens about Thanksgiving, because that's when all the family comes together. So usually if she's going to be in your life and be around family, usually it's about Thanksgiving when she's introduced to the family.
So, okay. So just say we've been dating 3 months and Thanksgiving pop up. Am I going to be invited? And should I be excited because you took me over to your family's house, to meet your parents? I mean, some guys do that and it's just like, that don't mean nothing. You just met your parents. That don't mean.
Are we dating again? Are we dating, or are we exclusive within that 3 months? Because if we are just dating and I'm not sure about you, I don't think you're coming to dinner. It's going to be like, well, hey, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? Because I'm going to be over here and you're going to be over there. Well, yeah, well, maybe we could get together that night or something, or maybe I'll see you on Black Friday. No, but if we are exclusive, look, the uncles, they over here, they don't mind them because they may get to scrapping, but that always happens. And they knock over the table and the food and everything. And then you're going to have the other one. She's going to be rambling, looking through coat pockets. So make sure you put the coat in my room because she's just looking for money so she could go out there. So, yeah. So if you're going to introduce them to the family, is usually Thanksgiving is the day to do that. You know, they say that this time of this is cuffing season, this time of season. So yeah.
So you said you would do it around Thanksgiving.
If I'm going to be serious about her, if it's somebody who I just met, no.
Lisa said not Black Friday.
Yeah.
This is my thing, ladies, let me just tell you this. If a guy tries to get with you the day before the holiday or the day after the holiday, say no. Okay? Because that means the main chick is going to be with him on the holiday. Say no. If he's Valentine's Day and he's trying to take you out the day before or the day after because all of a sudden he's busy at work and, you know, he ain't gonna be able to get off, tell him no. That's all right. Take yourself out. Go out with yourself. Don't go. Because 9 times out of 10, you are the side chick.
We're trying to have y'all lonely on Valentine's Day. Go ahead and listen to her if y'all want to.
I'm trying to get you to make smart decisions. You can go out the day before or the day after the holiday if you want to. You the side chick. You ain't the main chick. Kenya said, I don't think you should wait until a particular holiday. I think so too. I think when you're ready, you're ready. You're just ready. Don't.
I mean, that's true, but most of the time, the bulk of the family, they get together is going to be that first holiday, which is Thanksgiving. Now, sure, we could meet up 4th of July, if we're having a barbecue or something like that, but more than likely you're going to say, hey, mama, this is, you might introduce a mama, maybe your sister. But when you got mama, daddy, sister, uncle, brother, aunt, and cousin and all these people, yeah, that's a whole nother level of getting introduced. And that's what I mean by that's usually around Thanksgiving. Beforehand, that's a little soft intro. But when you get to Thanksgiving, that's a little bit much hard because all of them, they're going to remember, oh, what happened to such and such, especially if they seen her in July. And now they're seeing her again, then they're going to take you serious.
Especially if you're the type of person that brings somebody over every holiday. And believe me, the family will let you know. They'll be like, oh, what's your name again? So, oh, you weren't here last year. He brought somebody else.
Yeah, and then I got Uncle Ed over there talking about, oh, he done told me so much about you. And he up there, go over there. I don't need your help. Thank you.
Exactly. Okay, so our next debate question is, when should you introduce your children to your beat? Like how soon?
When you're sure. You have to be sure because you can't introduce your children and then the attachments begin, you're with this person and then, grand opening, grand closing, you're with them 1 week. Oh, this is my boyfriend, and you introduce him to the kids. Then the following week, oh, we broke up and he's not around no more. And you keep introducing men or women to these kids, and they just don't know what to think or what to do.
Introduce them as friends. You say, this is my friend, not my boyfriend. This is a friend.
But kids talk and they listen.
This is a friend. And then you don't, they're not around you. So if you're just introducing them, okay. But you don't, oh, he's over at the house or he's hanging around the kids, like all of that. Like I would advise against it when I'm engaged,
I gotta be engaged with you to meet your kids. They're gonna be like, well, where did this man come from? Did the stork? I'd be like, okay. Was he dropped off by the stork too? Like, he just came out of nowhere.
I have girls, so I'm really particular about my girls when it comes to men, and they really are a good judge of character. Like if I'm around somebody, the vibes, they be like, no, So I think you really just you have to be careful, and I would wait. And if he's serious, he'll wait. He'll be like, okay. If he's such in a rush, then that's a red flag for me.
And rush to meet your kids. Now, I'm not going to pressure any woman to meet her kids because when she feels as though it's ready and it's time for me to meet her kids, then we'll do that. Other than that, I'm not pushing the issue like, yeah, let me go ahead and meet Junior or let me meet Princess, or whatever case. Nah, in between that time, we're still getting to know each other because you need to know if I'm worthy enough to even meet your kids because, again, that's a big step, meeting the kids. That tells me that you trying to go all the way with this. We trying to get to the altar.
Some people do it up front so that if the kids are not feeling it, they're like, okay, we out of here. The kids ain't feeling it, we not going.
But I've had situations where the kids wasn't healed from the last relationship, and you got somebody new coming in, right behind them, and they like, well, but you didn't have that talk with them. Hey, like there's a woman, she was married for X amount of years. Her son, she was married. Her son, she had a talk with him, but she didn't date for 3 years. So then when a man finally came around, he was a little, like, no, I want you to be with dad. No, I can't be with dad because me and dad are not meant to be together. And I want to introduce you to him. And he felt some kind of way towards the new guy. And that came to a whole big, disagreement and whatnot. So again, it's a big deal. There's like prep talk. There's all kind of things that need to go on before that. So the kid, I'm sorry to cut, but the kid kept chasing the men off because he couldn't just come to terms that mommy was trying to move on. And she didn't really explain that to him. So it becomes hard. So now it's like she can't keep a man, and who knows who he could have been the one.
Can you say she says, when you know that you're going to be in a committed relationship, then you should have that. In a committed relationship, it's not good to be introducing your kid to every Jane and Mary. This was a good topic, you guys, and I still didn't even get through my entire list. Again, we were talking about the relationship debate, and this was part 2. So I will leave you with these words of wisdom. Some of the biggest challenges in relationships comes from the fact that most people enter a relationship in order to get something. They're trying to find someone who's going to make them feel good. In reality, the only way the relationship would last is if you see yourself in a relationship in a place where you're giving and not in a place where you're taking. So thank you for tuning in to Warriors Talk with author and founder Lady ReShell in the biz. Join me next week at 6 p.m. right here on Intellectual Radio at Warriors Talk, where we are changing lives one warrior at a time.
Thank you for listening to this week's edition of Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell. To find out more about Warriors Talk, follow at Warriors Talk, the number 1, on all social media outlets, and Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell on YouTube. Please join us next week and every Monday evening at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on intellectualradio.com. Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell, where we encourage and empower